side relationships. That's what we are calling them. But in our culture and society today, they are called many things, side chicks. And there's an article that was written by a gentleman in Nigeria. This gentleman was talking about side relationships and how they affect the health of men. And he talked about a long list of things, from anxiety to depression to even depletion of your resources.
God's intention for marriage was, is, and it will forever be a good thing.
My grandfather had 7 wives, probably more. I need to pull out the calculator.
And I want us to get into the reasons why men make these choices. Hello and welcome back to Reality Check. We are thankful that you're back again with us. My name is Rachel, and if you are new here, we would love it if you subscribed to this channel. We care for hearts and minds, and we do that through conversations on managing our mental health, and that's in the areas of family, marriage, relationships, and the workplace. Also as parents, because we know many of you are in the era of raising children and nurturing children. So if that's something that you think would be of value to you, please consider subscribing to Reality Check. Also, I wanted to remind you that we have a special offer for you for February, the month of love. We have a special event coming up on the 21st of February. That's a Saturday. We'll be gathering at the ICFC conference hall at 4 p.m. to celebrate love. So this is open to married couples and dating couples. Come, let's have conversations about connection over competition, or connection versus competition. So if you've always struggled with how do I have conversations with my husband, or how do I have conversations with my wife, what are some of those things that you are dealing with that are hindering good conversation and good communication, I invite you to come through. More than that, we are gathering to celebrate love, to celebrate our marriages, our relationships, and we're doing that dressed, of course, in red or black or elegant, whichever you prefer. The fee for that is 150,000 shillings. I apologize, it's 200,000 shillings for the couples. We'll have something to eat and lots of conversations with Dr. Evas Atwine, Junior Kwebiha, Mwine, and myself. So please, please, please mark that in your calendars, 21st of February at the ICFC conference hall here in Bukoto. That being said, we do have a special show for you, and if you're here because of the thumbnail and the title, you are welcome. We want to have a conversation today about side relationships. That's what we are calling them. But in our culture and society today, they are called many things, side chicks. There's an article that was written by a gentleman in Nigeria that Dr. Evas and I were musing over. And this gentleman was talking about side relationships and how they affect the health of men. And he talked about a long list of things, effects of side relationships, from anxiety to depression, to even depletion of your resources, your money, and your finances. So we thought we would add our voices to that article and have a conversation for you, our Reality Check audience. So welcome aboard. And to have this conversation, we are joined by Joseph Mufumba. You are new here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Joseph is a marriage counselor, and I'll allow him to say a bit more about himself, but he's graciously agreed to come and join us for this conversation. Welcome, Joseph.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Doctor. I'm by the names of Joseph Mukisa Mufumba. I'm born again, in a Ugandan by descent, a born again believer. I will be 31 years in September this year in salvation.
Wow.
I made that commitment in 1995, September. So last year was 30 years. This year will be 31. Ever since I made that big decision, my life has never remained the same. By God's grace, in 2019, I got married to my beautiful wife. She's called Brenda. She's an accountant with National Water. certified public accountant. By the grace of God, we are blessed with a daughter by the names of Janice Hope Mufumba. She will be turning 4 in April. We are blessed with that beautiful girl. She's actually our hope. When we look at her, there is hope, you know, because of the story behind her birth.
Wow.
Yeah, we bless the Lord, and the Lord is continuing to do many things. I'm a praise and worship leader with House of Revival Church in Chisasi, and that is opposite Asifiwe International School. By the grace of God, still, I do part-time ministry with All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, and I also minister there in praise and worship. We are premarital counselors, and the Lord is doing big things.
Nice.
I'm a businessman, many things. So for now, we'll take it as it is. And I thank God that we are here to have this beautiful conversation and to see what God has in store.
Yeah. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you for agreeing to come and have a rather sensitive conversation that has become quite common in our world today. And of course, Dr. Evas Atwine, who is our resident therapist and also the founder at ICFC. ICFC is a therapy practice. If you are looking for marriage counseling, premarital counseling, you know, you want support on your parenting journey, or even at the workplace, that is the place to be. All right, we've said so much already, but let's get into our conversation for today. Side relationships. This gentleman in the article, and maybe we shall link it in our description box so you can have a read, pointing out that side relationships have become increasingly normal and normalized in some cultures and social spaces. And I think a good place to start would be, how did we get here? And then maybe how have these relationships evolved, you know, from now to previous generations? Yeah.
Wow. Thank you. I think I'll try to give it perspective with 4 to 5, you know, justifications. Number one, being a believer, I would say before all these contributions towards the side relationships, that one thing I can talk about is the devil's agenda. The devil, as the scripture says, he came to steal, kill, and to destroy. So God's intention for marriage was, is, and it will forever be a good thing. But now the devil is trying to fight to ensure that he turns it upside down for his good. That's why these issues of side relationships, actually for me I would call it sexual network. In Uganda there was a campaign about sexual networks, you know. So the devil's agenda has literally played a pivotal role in ensuring that these things become real. And we're seeing it not even in Uganda, but world all over. The devil has tried to clothe himself in many ways. For example, the idea of homosexuality. He's trying to say, man and man, it's good. He's trying to say, woman to woman, it's good. So if you have never tried it out that way, you would want to try it out and to see how it feels. But according to God, that is wrong. So the devil's agenda is loud and clear as far as these side relationships are concerned. Number two, our parents, or parents of those days, they were ideal parents. For example, let me use you as an example. I have known your father for some good time. While we were fellowshipping in Makerere, he used to come and bless us. So you have grown up from a healthy family where you see the love of the father and mother being real. It's not plastic. It's real love. And that environment has contributed a lot to what we are seeing. Recently, your brother got married. What a joy. You are married. What a joy. And the rest of your siblings. So basically, that environment, the home, it's a nurturing center where morals are instilled, where character and discipline are instilled to ensure that the fruits, the legacy being built is a good one. So we are experiencing absenteeism of parents in this generation. For example, in those networks, if you ever find yourself or you are caught up in a place whereby you have impregnated so many girls, so it means that most of them will be abandoned and you concentrate on your official wife. These ones you just keep on going back, but the attention span will be limited. So implying that the children arising from those relationships, they will grow up without experiencing a father. And even the other idea of early death, premature deaths of maybe parents or one of the parents has also contributed to the upbringing of these children with no morals. There's no one to look up to, and it's been a great challenge. So we look at absenteeism as a major challenge. Absenteeism in the area of parenting. Parents have been absent. People are busy. They are talking about chasing careers. They are talking about looking for money. Dad wakes up in the mornings, like for me, I need to go look for money. We have to pay bills. We have to do this. We have to do this. They have never settled down with their children to talk about life issues. And so by the end of the day, it is most of these TV programs that are literally teaching your children what to do. It is the singers on TikTok that are teaching your children what to do. The kojas, we've seen these things, and some of them it's not a good idea. So parenting has been a major problem, the absenteeism in parenting. Then the other thing, some of us, there are those who have been parented well, they have grown up, they have left home, and now they are being pushed into the real world. The problem here is accountability. Most people have found themselves isolated. You see, being a believer, when you are isolated by the enemy, that's when he caves in and he starts to do his work. So isolation is very, very, very crazy as far as this issue of sexual, I will call it sexual networks, side relationships. And so if you are not accountable, if you don't have someone to hold your hand, for example, for us, while we are growing up, we will tell people, if you're a guy, you need to walk and do life with a fellow guy. You know, pray together, someone who can check on you, someone who can motivate you, someone who can push you to do something. If you're a lady, do the same thing. So like in the Bible, Paul needed a Timothy. And so we look at accountability being very crucial in this thing. So if it's not there, that's when you realize people are getting bad company.
And making wrong choices.
Exactly. They're getting bad company. Someone, for example, if you're in school, your peer groups, they'll tell you, drinking is good. Let's go. The guy will push you to drink, and before you know it, you are exposed to so many things. There you go. So you are at your workplace, you have these parties, you go to party around, you a married guy, and before you know it, one event leads to the other. And the devil has you that way. So if you don't have accountability, if you don't have that good person to hold your hand, to tell you that this is wrong, it's going to take a huge toll on you.
I want to take you back to the comparison between generations.
Yes.
You cited my family, which is one out of millions of families.
Right.
But I've observed, at least from hearing some of the stories that our parents and grandparents tell us, is that side relationships were there even back then. It wasn't. It's not a new thing.
Yeah.
But back then it was silent. You know, the way those side relationships were handled is such that, you know, the official wife just agreed that, you know, something has happened, you know, a child has been born out of, you know, wedlock, and therefore either the child was brought home to the official home, or the man kind of had freedom and leeway to manage both families.
Right.
You know? And I think that it's important to take note of that back then it used to happen, maybe a bit more discreetly.
True.
And the wives at that time were not as vocal as we are today. So there's a lot of change that has happened.
Right.
Even with the women being able to speak up and say, I don't like this arrangement.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just thought that it was important to mention that, you know, it was there, it was happening back then. It's not a new phenomenon. But in terms of the way it was handled versus how it is being handled
today.
Is
I think it wasn't that pronounced, like you said. Yeah, but the times have changed, and we are living in times whereby people feel they're entitled. Like, for example, if I'm married, like, this is my husband. This is my wife. You know? So if there be another second party to it, oh my goodness, it will be disaster.
Disaster.
Yeah. So.
Thank you, Joseph. Yes, Dr. Evas, I would like to hear your thoughts on how we got here.
How we got here, I think I would start from our human nature. Yeah, our human nature is selfish. Our human nature is self-centered. Our human nature is entitled. And so it begins there. You've heard people ask, but our forefathers in the Bible had so many wives. And we don't see women have many husbands. We actually see a woman that commits adultery, men are stoning her. But we don't see, we see so many men have many wives. Some of them ridiculously, so many, like 1,000.
And they say God used them.
And they say God used them. Now, sometimes we read half of the story, but we don't see the consequences of those so many wives. Like when you read about the story of David, the chaos in his home. Now, people run very quickly and say, but David had so many wives. He even slept with Bathsheba. They had sorrows. I mean, all that. But they leave a part of the story about the chaos in David's home, how the stepchildren, the fights among the chaos that actually eventually led to his death and stress. So I was just making the point that it's in our human nature. Now, very interestingly, speaking about human nature, then I go back to my psychology, that we are all born selfish, self-centered, not thinking about any other person, always pursuing pleasure, wanting, like, as much as possible, maximize pleasure, minimize pain and deprivation. And so that's where it begins. Now, that human in this world then gets into an environment that we call culture, because Rachel, when my brother Joseph was making his submissions, I think this thing started a long time ago. Long time ago. My dad, my grandfather had 7 wives. Probably more. I need to pull out the calculator. 7 wives. And so we come from that background. And so many of his peers had so many wives. Now, if you ask wife number 1, number 2, number 3, what are you looking for? Number 4, what are you looking for? Number 5. Now, that time it was official.
Right.
I mean, like, he's known. He had 7 wives. shocking to anyone? No. But among those 7, let one of them pick another man, probably they would be stoned. So I'm talking about culture. So culture, I think the culture that then reinforces our selfish nature.
True.
You see, then and now. Right?
Yeah.
Then and now. If you wish, I'll tell you my work supporting families, people still want to invoke culture. I mean, check every time someone, because you see, the brain, we have an internal accountability system, internal management system that will tell you, this is right, this is wrong. It's called the personal value system. However, it depends on what you feed it.
Yeah.
So in the construct of that system, you have to feed it with information that it's going to, that will help it to run and then serve you.
True.
You see? Now, so that's what you're talking about, that the nurturing. That's the whole nurturing.
Yes.
That's because that internal support system, that's your internal working model. We call it in psychology. Your internal working model. It helps you to, it shapes your view of the outer world, and therefore informs the choices you're going to make. True. You understand?
Yes.
Now, so the culture then, that when you hear culture, it's about how you're shaping the people's belief systems and therefore the internal working model that is going to help them. Now, depending on what you shape it, it has 2 sides. It has what it calls the allowable behavior and disallowable behavior. Okay? Now, depending on what you have fed it with, what your internal working model will be different from mine. I would get in and say, like, adultery or picking another man is absolutely unacceptable to me. Another one will have it in the middle there. Those are the people you hear say, it depends. Then you'll have another one who says, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Please remember that this internal working model shapes your thought processes, because then you're going to see something and then it will tell you, this system will tell you, that's okay, you can go. You can go. So then you'll find that you're doing something, but you don't even see that there's anything wrong with it. And so, I'm answering your question, Rachel. That's where we started. And please note that culture just continues through generations, unless you break it.
Break it.
So if you don't break it, then my grandfather, who had 7 wives, my father could have made a choice to have 7 wives as well, or even more. But then my father got saved when he was young.
Wow.
Right? Wow. And it's a whole long story. So God saved when he was young, because partly he lost his mom, and then he had to look for survival. And then he went to church to drum. So he would do drumming for Sunday. That's how he got into church. And then he got saved. Became an evangelist. The rest is history. That got broken.
He broke the cycle.
That got broken. But I want to tell you, his siblings, my uncles, I don't remember, a number of them had more than one wife.
The thing jumped on them.
We don't have a 7-wife mark, but then most of them were polygamous. You see that? Because that's where you hear people say, my father had it, so what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it? Even now, we've come to this point because some of the things, despite, I hear people say, despite all the education and all, and the struggles that people see, which I'm sure we are going to get into, then people are still invoking culture.
True.
Yeah, what's wrong with it? I can marry so many, I can have so many women, I can afford them, because it's allowable in your internal working model, in your personal value system. That's where I feel.
That is it.
Yeah.
And I think, to your point, breaking a cycle starts with confronting it.
Oh yeah.
Why, like you were asking, okay, you have wife number 1, wife number 2, okay. wife number 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7. Like, what are you
What
looking
exactly
for?
are you looking for?
What is it about? What the thing that moved you to get wife number 1? Do you still lack it at wife number 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7?
That's why we see King Solomon with
Yes, the 1,000. I mean, and our needs are insatiable. You know, we will forever feel the need for companion or feel the need for validation. Having another wife is not going to meet that need entirely, you know. And I want us to get into the reasons why men make these choices. I know Dr. Evas has already talked about our selfish nature. That's the foundation of it. But there are things in marriages and relationships that will push them. Some things, and this is not about blaming. We're not saying women force their husbands to get. We want to try and contextualize why men get up and say, this is the one I have is not enough. Let me go and find a second and a third, you know, and a fourth. I want us to kind of explore those reasons. Why do men find themselves in this situation?
Yeah, I'd like to add a break to what she has submitted. She talked about the grandfather having 7 wives. So it was passed on to the next generation. There is a Muslim guy I know, I think he stays in Mityana. He said, my father had 40-something children. So for me, that is a small number. I want to surpass him.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like he wants that, how do you call it? Prestige, but also a continuity of his generation, of his blood. You know, he wants to outsurpass his father. So basically, he wants to outdo what his father did. So most of us, there's that thing within them telling them you can do more than this person. You can do better. And by the end of the day, the child you give birth to will also do the same. Until, like she said, until you decide to put an end to it. So that is it, culture. Then the other thing is to do with bad company. I would still use it. Or I'll not call it bad company, but also company. Peer pressure. Yeah, because my neighbor has done it, I want to do it.
My neighbor has done it and he has gotten away with it.
Exactly.
Or seemingly gotten away with it.
Yeah, he has a beautiful wife, he has so and so, she's working, I also want to do the same, you know? And so you find yourself caught up in that ring.
Cycle.
It's a cycle and you can't get out of it. It just takes God.
Yeah.
So prestige, those days, for you to be a recognized and respected man on the village, like, you know, in Uganda they say, Oyo Mwami. Because he has many children, he has many wives, and there's no one like you. You know, you feel that, yes,
so there's ego,
I am the man. Exactly, I am the man. I am the man. I'm reminded, I think that guy, he ranks #1 in Uganda. He's from Butaleja. He's a Muslim. Wow. He has, how many wives? Are they close to 20-something? But he has over 170, I think he has clocked 180 children. Wow. Then the grandchildren, they're about 400. But he says he's experiencing poverty of the highest order.
Wow. What did he expect?
So he went into the venture, but he didn't see the repercussions thereof. Yeah. And now it's only his sons who are trying to, you know, to improve, you know, the situation. But it's tight. I was reading that story and I'm like, what is this? And all the women, all his wives are saying, we love this man, he's a darling to us, and he has kept them in the same area. They are there. Then another gentleman, I will not mention his name, but he used to work in government, somewhere in eastern Uganda. He has 4 wives. He built for them the same type of house, and all the children grew up in the same environment. So there's nothing like, for you, I'll take you to Masaka, for you, I'll take you here. You have to grow up in the same place. So you realize that these guys, they had something, they actually saw whatever they saw that most people didn't see. By the end of the day, you say, oh, that's who they are. So basically, people are looking out for many things in this, and it satisfies them. But now to others, it's not satisfaction by the end of the day. Yeah.
So there's an issue of ego, like you said, prestige, establishing your, what do I call it, your manhood or your sense of being a man. Those are all, and I guess all those reasons are rooted back in the selfishness and the desire for, some level of, see me, I have conquered, or I'm doing well, Dr. Evas, I am really curious to hear what you have to say on what prompts men to make these decisions.
Okay, so usually there is a primary issue, but then every time we are stuck with a decision, we have to look for something to cover it.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I mentioned is a feeling of validation, a feeling that it's normal.
Yeah.
We all know that there are certain sins that are committed, and then people think, oh, especially in our culture, and people won't be surprised. Like, for instance, you've had people hearing that a man has gotten another wife. How many people get surprised?
Not many.
You see? So you asked, how have we come here? It is that kind of permissiveness of behavior.
Right.
And Rachel, you mentioned earlier that if you're going to change behavior, then you have to start by confronting it. But actually, I would take you a level lower. You have to start by labeling it.
Yes.
Label it the right way. If you read scripture about, I think it's in Genesis 39, Joseph, when he was going to be raped by Potiphar's wife. You remember his statement? He said, how can I do such a wicked thing? He would have said, how can I do such a thing? But he labeled it. He named it. He called it wicked. Now, that has a psychological benefit, because when you say wicked, the brain is going to remind you, then why are you doing it? Yeah. You see? Yeah. So now the challenge we are having is that behavior is not named a certain correctly. Some people call it cool, some people call it brave, some other people, but we do not name it properly and say this is wicked. Now that is, if you label it that way, society labels it that way, then it's going to be very easy for even calling out Joseph and say, Joseph, did I hear this? Tell me what happened. Now, so the thing is, men feel validated.
Yes.
They feel validated. They're like, no, not many people get some. They will have some little guilt, shame here, some semblance of confusion here, but then it wanes off, because then they feel, who will be surprised? Maybe a few friends, Rachel will get angry, another one, a few. Okay. But then generally, it feels allowable. Yeah. So that's, for me, that's a big thing. It's such a big thing. That's why most men do what they do. Secondly, and I'm going to say something about their marriage and all. I'm sure you want to hear that. But I also feel it is, of course, it's a continuation of selfishness.
Right.
Yeah. That entitlement. That entitlement. I was speaking to a young guy, an amazing professional, lovely guy with a young family, beautiful children. And then he's telling me, he said, he was referring his wife to me. I said, let her come, and then later on I will also, is it okay if I have a conversation with you? And he said, yeah, but I feel fix her, and then we'll have a good marriage. But in our conversation, he said, but for me, I've told her, fix yourself. If not, I'm going to pick another wife.
Okay. So he has options.
He has options. But I thanked him for talking to me because I was able to help him understand a few things we're going to talk about here. But then he added something else. He said, because us, we are Muslims. So me, I can pick another wife, but I'm just doing you a favor, pretty much. I'm doing you a favor to not pick another wife yet. You see that? So I have something to service my selfishness. If I feel I come, you greet me, you do not bring both teeth out, I can, because in the back end,
I have options.
I have options, and no one is going to be shocked. You understand? So there is that. Can I? And if you wish, I would have stopped there. But let me mention something about marriage. You see, I've already told people the challenges in marriage are building on the two aspects I've mentioned. That you feel you have plan B. In your personal value, in your internal working model, that's an option.
Yes.
Don't worry. It could be. I know I'm not a doctor, but I know when doctors diagnosing us around when they are doing investigations around cancer, they'll find tumors that are, what do they say?
Benign?
Yes, benign.
Yeah.
So there are some benign tumors, but there are those that are active.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, if I could use that analogy, in our back end, we have some benign desire of, you feel permitted.
Yeah.
That permission there, I can have another wife, but it's still benign.
It's very tiny.
It's benign.
Yeah.
It's not active.
Yeah.
But should there be something that triggers you, then you're going to go. It's all rooted in our internal working model.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all rooted in our personal value system. I've told people, let me say this, that in marriage, if we all looked for a reason to have a side person, we would all get it.
Absolutely.
All of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every person, including the archbishops.
The Holy of Holies.
I'm telling you, except Jesus.
Yeah.
But I want to tell you, every person, if you allowed yourself to look that side, we can all be having a side person.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it's deception. It is that deception, and which I'm also giving to you as a reason, that it's deception.
Yeah.
Why are men going out to look? It is deception that actually, if you get another person, you're going to feel happier. The problem is that this person has expired.
Yeah.
The love in this person has actually got depleted.
Yeah.
And so if I picked a new relationship, then I'm going to be better. I'm going to be better.
Yeah.
If you allow me, Rachel, I'll give you the last point on that. That why are men doing this? You see, there is something about newness. There is something about a new dress, a new thing, a new job. There is an amount of pleasure that is attached to that. Everyone remembers the last time you got a new appointment. It's exciting. But how about 2 years down the road when you have to do the job and now you have to interact with people and then you have to do all that?
Yeah.
Now, if you wish for us to love the job, we could actually change a job. But there are people who love the job that they are doing. So there is this challenge of men thinking that, and of course there is women. Men, today we are talking about you. So don't kill me for focusing on you so much. But the thing is, there is this whole thing of if I can't get this here, then I'm going to, when I start a new relationship, it's going to feel new. It's a new shirt. It's a new this. it's a new that. Then, because I'm calling it deception, which it is, you forget that the new relationship you have is actually similar to the new that you had.
Yes.
Right? And so this new is also going to be old. You see, so that's why it's deception. So now, if I start a new relationship, then they think because the new relationship begins, the foundation is emotional. There's no much logic. They are not looking for a wife. They are not. It's just all emotional. I feel. Then they think that I feel is going to be the thing. They're going to feel like that forever.
Yes.
Then before they know, it also turns into management. That's why I've been telling people that every relationship is a management platform. Now, your marriage here is going to require a lot of work. And so instead of then being innovative, solving problems, checking what your partner needs, meeting and having hard conversation, that feels like too much work. That's a lot of work. So why don't I get someone who has less demand on me? So when we meet, we are not talking about school fees, plans, what, it is just feel. So now they get into that feeling thing. Before they know, it graduates to management. What are we up to? No. I need a child.
Yeah.
I don't want children. The management issues.
It is multiplied.
Or
by
you have a child.
Two.
Yes, you have a child. Now you have to talk about child. Then you're hiding. Then now, why didn't you pick my phone? Why did you call your wife and didn't call me? So it gets into a management platform.
A lot of insecurity.
And before you know, you're bored. I think that's how this guy ended up in 1,000 women, because he was looking for the pleasure that comes at no cost.
Right.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you cannot have pleasure at no cost.
There's
No,
a cost
there is a
attached.
cost
Cost.
always.
Yes.
Whether now, tomorrow, another day, it's going to be big time cost.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, it is regarded as expensive.
Of course.
Very expensive in many ways. Emotionally, physically, mentally, even spiritually.
Yeah.
Financially.
100%. So men don't want, most men don't want to do the work of
In their
relational
official
management.
management.
Actually, we call it relational workout.
Yeah. And wonderful submissions, both of you. And I think that even as we talk about these being normalized, these side relationships being normalized, there's also a very big percentage of men who are having these relationships in secret. It's still very much a secret. Of course, it's a matter of time before the wife finds out.
Right.
But there's that, I am living a double life. And that's what this gentleman alludes to in this article. And as we answer the next question, I want you to have that in mind. What is demanded of a man mentally, spiritually, financially, physically, to run those two families? Basically, to live a double life. You have your official home. You hear stories like, oh, my husband, he's at home at 5 on the dot. Over the weekend, he's at home. And then suddenly you hear that he has a family. And the question is, how did he manage to pull that off? How did he find time to go to work, come back at 5 p.m. to his home? But now suddenly there's a whole woman somewhere and maybe 3 children. So I want us to talk about the demands of that double life, which in this article he really gets into. What are the demands on the man? What is expected of him that he may not see at the onset, where it's pleasure? I think one of the things that you forgot to mention, Dr. Evas, is apart from pleasure, they will now use this other relationship as an escape.
Yeah.
If the wife is nagging or if she's constantly bringing up management issues, like, I don't want to deal with this, let me move to what is more pleasurable, with this other person. So let's talk about what is expected of men. What the demand, the cost that the both of you are referring to, what is that cost?
I mean, the cost it's a heavy one. In the first place, if you are married to one person, you know what you are mandated to do within that marriage. Even the children you've agreed to give birth to and how you are going to work, in order to maintain them, groom them, educate them. Basically, the convenient way, actually, your convenient way of doing things. But now, taking up an extra cost, it's going to take a huge toll on you, which I said times 2. Now, imagine if those are 5 women. That is times 5. So implying that the convenience you used or you were used to in the first marriage, in the first relationship, it will turn out to be something different. So that means you are going to start pulling ropes with your wife. There's going to be a lot of emotional outbursts. We are talking about something like that. There's going to be a lot of infighting. There's going to be a lot of insecurities. And once your wife starts to scan you and begin to see all those things, that is when everything goes down. And so we have seen people, for example, those who had jobs and they are no longer working. Because, your blessing is with your first wife. Yeah. But now, you've decided to do whatever you want to do, thinking that it is good.
Yeah.
So, that is number 1. Number 2, you see that there is a lot of demand on you as far as time is concerned. This one is calling you. For example, your wife calls you honey. Hi, honey. Then the other one is calling you Big Daddy.
Oh dear.
Big Daddy. And so you have to match up to those names.
And know which stakeholder you're referring to.
Exactly. Then you have the other one calling you investor. Investor. Now so basically
you're investing in them.
Exactly. Yes. And they look at you as an eligible candidate to do that. So you have to house them. You have to feed them, you have to clothe them. And so when you look at your income flow, it's not the good one. There are those who are blessed that they are doing that, but there are times when you are constrained.
Yeah.
And so your family is at stake. You've neglected it in terms of, care and responsibility and vision, whatsoever. So now there's a lot of divided attention. You have to look at number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. And trust me, you can't meet those demands. You can't. Yeah. You can't. When we talk about the nurturing, now in that marriage of yours, the first one, before these others opened up, remember you have children. Children have to look up to you as their father, as their role model, as their everything. Yeah. Now you are subjecting them to something that they have never experienced, and here you are. For example, if at all you get into the news, so and so, such and such a gentleman is like this, you can even, have relationship with someone's wife. We've seen those people who are eloping up with wives of soldiers, army men, and the man can kill you.
Take you out.
Yeah. So such news, if it pops up, and now your kids have gone to school, they say, hey, you see your father is a womanizer. You see So there's a lot of torture that you subject to your children and your family. So it is costly.
Yeah.
It is costly and very expensive. Emotionally, financially, it is draining. You start going to borrow. There's a case I heard about. He got the family property, he took it in the bank. And he got a loan just for the side chick. And so time to pay back or remitting, he was in arrears. Before you know it, the bank came.
For that property?
Yes, the bank came and said, you know what? According to what we had agreed, nothing is happening. So we are taking the house. The woman is like, on what grounds? Yeah. Like, they brought out the documentation, and indeed it was true, this guy. So upon asking, the man was just there. Then there is the element of witchcraft. In this day and age, we are talking about every woman, I'm entitled to this man, I want him. So they will do whatever they want to do in their powers, and so juju, witchcraft, is real. They will bewitch this man, and he becomes, I don't know if the best word to use, but basically that character, whoever they are, whether they are number 5, number 2, or number 3, they will like, this is my man. This is my man. So juju plays a very, very pivotal, role in this thing. And before you know it, this woman will also pass it to the wife. He will pass it to the children. And you just torment the entire family. So it is expensive.
It is very costly. Dr. Evas, I want to hear from you on the psychological costs. Yeah, the unseen costs.
He has talked about them, the psychological manipulation.
Yes.
Actually, when you are mentioning like wives bewitching, I actually think, and honestly, I'm not an expert on some of these witchcraft stuff sometimes, but thinking of it, like who is bewitching who? I think, you see, I'm a student of psychology, so I also know a little bit about that whole witchcraft thing, which is actually spiritual manipulation.
Right.
There's a spiritual world around it, but we also need to know that there is a lot of psychological manipulation.
Sure.
Because witchcraft thrives on what principles? Fear, confusion, worry, excessive anxiety, and all. But you see, the action itself of getting an extra partner, there's a lot of embedded witchcraft, if you wish.
That is true.
So the thing is, who is bewitching the man? He's actually bewitching himself.
Yes.
You see? So, but let me spare that conversation for another time until I've done sufficient research. But let me talk about the psychological and mental health costs of living what we call a fragmented life. Can you imagine fragmented?
Yeah.
The word itself is scary.
Sure.
Because you're not together, you're fragmented. Now, a society once again has glamorized this, and they only sell to you the one side of, if you have another wife, if you have a girlfriend, they call them Panado. Who calls the other Panado? Women or men, whatever they may. So they market or the enemy markets this upper thing of when this one disturbs you, you go here, you're okay, you're done. But they don't show you the underlying costs, the danger.
Yeah.
And this is, of course, rooted in scripture.
Sure.
Things you see with your eyes. It looked nice in the eyes and it seemed good for food.
Yes.
Do you hear that language?
Sure.
That's exactly the deception that goes with, you can get this and be okay. Now, the psychological or mental health costs of this fragmented life, there are so many. There are so many. There's what we call emotional dissonance. Emotional dissonance is a psychological condition which is where it's characterized by intense stress.
Sure.
Intense stress. Now, when we talk about this, let me make people hate this behavior, because I think this is the purpose we are having it. We do not count the cost of some of these things. We think, oh, a little stress, a little stress. Now, I was reading about it, and I want to tell you that medical research has consistently shown that such behaviors trigger a lot of cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone.
Right.
And heightened cortisol levels in the body is a disaster. Heightened and consistent. So basically, if you have a relationship and you have a relation in addition to your relationship, some people are very innovative. They're like King Solomon's cousins. And so they have this person, they have another one, they have another one. They're only looking at maybe a little pleasure, maybe a little sex somewhere, maybe a little this.
Serious.
But they are not considering the stress under which it comes. And so, so medical research is showing that prolonged secrecy, for instance, prolonged secrecy and deception are linked to diseases like heart attack, cardiovascular illnesses, hypertension. So hypertension, but also diabetes, compromised immunity, because you're always working under pressure. You're working under pressure, and so you have to, you get this, you have to lie. Like maintaining secrecy, that is too much. Because you're putting pressure on your heart. You're putting pressure on your head. You have to be creative. That's why you have heard that one lie, to sustain one lie, you have to put 100 more lies. Right?
Yeah.
Now, that kind of lying, now, managing multiple lies is dangerous. But what does the world say? It says that a little lie is better than secret open truth or open something truth. And so you just go, you're lying here, you're lying. Where are you? I'm approaching. I'm here. I'm almost there. I'm going to travel. I have a trip. But you're in Bukoto somewhere. And so,
actually, you're talking about a little. I think about 15 years ago, I was traveling to Jinja in a taxi, and everyone was stunned. This girl, someone, I think she was married or eloped to some guy. So while we're just right after, out of Mabida like this, she got a phone call. And surprisingly, the volume was up. The taxi was a bit quiet. And she received the phone call. Before you know it, Oliwa, Ndintebe.
Approaching Ginger.
Everyone was like, what? If you were in the city, you would do that. But now, supposing you get an accident.
Yes.
So do you see what happens? So after you have lied, then now there's an extra layer of now supposing this happens. Do you see how your brain is constantly under pressure?
Yes.
It's working overtime. It's in overdrive mode. And so that's not healthy.
Yeah.
You see, that's why we say, and I advise people during my life coaching sessions, I say a life of discipline is a life of good health.
Wow.
Right?
Yes.
A life of discipline. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. So that then that what you have spoken is final. But now if you speak a lie, it's going to trigger responsibility for another lie. But also it triggers fear and worry. Now if I'm found out. Right? Unfortunately, now you're asking, why was her volume high? One of the reasons is that there is no mental stability to do things. That's why you can't do sin in a smart way.
You can't.
No, you can't. Because you're doing sin, and sin is going to push you, it will get you off balance.
Yes.
So you find that then people who are in a good state are going to say, but why did you do this? Why did you? You should have. But you are in a good place. This person is emotionally destabilized. And so they cannot put things together. Now that's exactly what happens. Those are the psychological challenges that come with this behavior, because you're constantly lying, you're constantly in deception, and deception cannot make you settled. No. Because every time you're self-doubting, did I do the right anyway? Am I the only one? But my grandfather, who died a long time ago, you don't know whether he died of multiple wives as well. And you're invoking that. There is a saying in our language. I'm in the habit of saying, speaking in my local language here, but let me try to translate it. I wrote it somewhere. It translates into a conversation between two people where one said, you a skin of a hyena cannot be used to carry a child. And the other one said, but I used it for my deceased child. Do you understand what that means? So I'm saying, you can't do that. And then they say, but I carried my deceased child with, didn't I do that? So basically, you're not understanding that probably that's why the child deceased. And now you do not see the danger of that. I don't know whether it comes out okay.
Yes.
In those who speak my language, I'll still say, you understand?
Yeah.
So now you don't know that actually people who are in this are suffering.
Yes.
And so you are invoking that, glamorizing it, using them as a reference.
Yes.
So that's exactly what happens. Now, unfortunately, we are seeing a lot. There's a study that was published recently in a journal called Lancet and Sleep Medicine Reviews. And it has linked chronic sleep deprivation to cardiovascular disease and early mortality, early death.
Wow.
Now, what is happening to people who are running multiple relationships? They don't sleep. They don't sleep. Now, look around Kampala. People are going home at 4, at 3, at 2, at 5. At 6, they go to change clothes. And then they get home, the partner is looking at them. They look like a shadow in their own homes. Children are going to school. I mean, we have so many families where dads are reaching home in the morning when children are their children are being taken to school.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Now, what do you think of this person? Do you know what they do? Psychological dissonance, which I talked about. Now, in men, it manifests, it doesn't, in women, it manifests in excessive sadness. But in men, it manifests in irritability.
Yes.
Right? Irritability, confusion, right? And so men, then imagine you walk into your home at 6 when children are being taken to school.
Actually, you meet in the corridor.
And no, okay, you understand. And no, let's assume no one asks you. No one asks you where you're coming from. Aren't you the boss?
Yeah?
You're
the head of the
You're the head of the home, and you tell people, you introduce yourself, that you're the head of the home. Even if no one asks you, there is already a cost. Shame, guilt, confusion. And then what do? Then they get irritable. Then they just threaten everyone. This is my home. No one is going to ask me where I'm coming from. And okay, get away with it. But do you know what you're doing? So that's why I always tell men that actually this is decent suicide. You're killing yourself slowly. You're not taking medicine or wherever. What is this medicine? We used to call it Copatox for killing ticks on animals, but you haven't swallowed that, or you haven't put a rope around, an invisible rope around your neck. But actually, you're putting a rope around your neck. Now, let me just say something more about sleep deprivation. What happens then with these multiple relationships? One of the biggest costs is sleep. You can't sleep peacefully. Scripture talks about. I love this scripture in Psalms 4, I think, Psalms 4 and 5, it talks, the psalmist says, I'll go to bed and sleep because you, the Lord, gives me rest. Now, when you have unfinished business or confusion, you cannot have what we call high quality sleep. Because if you sleep and then you're phone, and if you sleep, then now the other person, maybe you had told them you'd be there, but now there is a demand at home. Your wife has said, we have guests, now you've come. So you're there. And then you cannot sleep. Let's assume you go out and sleep. There are people who sleep half the night in another home and half the night in another home. And they say, didn't I come? You've come, but you haven't slept.
You're not here.
You see? Then when you get home, the person is angry, your partner is probably frustrated, your children are asking. Children keep asking, does daddy come? Is he working at night? That's why I've always told men, are you a security guard? Because there are children. who are asking their dad, what job do you do?
Yeah.
What job do you work in the night? You work up to midnight, you work up to 1, you work up to... All those things are costing you a lot of psychological peace and mental fitness because you are not sleeping. So go here and sleep 2 hours and block people, switch off the phone or don't pick your partner's phone calls. It's not coming at no cost. And the cost is actually bigger than probably what you're getting from
sounds
here.
like a lot of work.
It's a lot. And so now, sleep deprivation is, by the way, the next killer. Research is showing that it is one of the reasons that middle-aged men are dying because of lack of sufficient sleep. If you sleep, if you are in this and you sleep, most likely you have no rest. You sleep, yes, there's a difference.
Yeah.
You are sleeping, but you have no rest. Yeah. Even when you sleep and dream, you're dreaming about snakes and it's confusion.
Actually, you can sleep anywhere.
Yeah.
But rest
is totally different.
Is only found in one place.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, in this context, I'll use two. There is rest in the Lord. Then rest can only be found in a home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where someone gives you peace, where you go and someone validates you, like we talked about, someone celebrates you, someone is happy to see you. That's why you see healthy families is when, mom and dad are happy, the children are happy, the man is in his kingdom. See, both the queen and the king, they're in their domain.
Yes.
Everything is perfect. But now when you run away from that discipline and from that culture, I mean, this phone, even though you switch it off, doctor,
it's actually still on in your head.
You, by the time you put it back, hello, wasuzewa? And they start on him. They just unleash verbal artillery. Before you know it, those things, the moment they penetrate, words are strong. The moment they penetrate you like this, you will not perform well at work. You will not perform well, whether it is a business. You actually, most people, when they are up there and the thing has reached somewhere, either they commit suicide and they're like, I think I have to do with this.
Yeah, but you see, even when you switch off the phone, but you have unresolved issues, actually the phone is on in your head and in your heart. And because you have unresolved issues. Just going back to the sleep, sleep and rest are different. Rest is from peace of mind.
Yes.
So you can't have quality sleep that restores your body cells and your brain cells because of unresolved issues.
Right.
Now, I just want also to remind those who are watching that actually sleep, we are seeing that the next disaster in human health is going to be sleep deprivation. We are now seeing, again, I was reading about this in this journal, that young men, middle-aged men, are now showing early signs of dementia. Imagine early signs of dementia in late 40s, 50s, because of lack of sleep. And so if you find that then the reason for your lack of sleep, there are so many things that affect our sleep because sleep is deprived from pleasure and peace of mind. But because you're running multiple relationships, everyone has so many expectations on you. And then you have to lie. And then you're constantly exposed to fear of being found out. Right? Then you cannot rest. It just compounds everything. So I don't even know how much to talk about this, but it's very, very, very painful. And then, of course, there is also, we cannot leave this place without talking about the physical health risks. Physical health risks. The risks of contracting disease, sexually transmitted diseases, and all. At the end of the day, you're like, okay.
Is it worth it?
Is it worth it? That's why, Rachel, I always on this show ask people. Now, let me also pause and ask. Are you sure that extra relationship is an addition to your life? Because I've always told people that not every extra is an addition. Some of them are absolute disaster and subtraction. Yeah. This is not even subtraction, this is destruction.
That's it.
Sorry to cut you, doctor. What happens is that's why I may have said it's a sexual network. The lady is complaining, you don't give me time. You have to concentrate your wife, the main woman. Then there is these other two side chicks. The Uganda loosely translated Tompa time. So they will find a young man, if the so-called investor is maybe in his 50s or 60s and is trying to play cool. So they will find a young man who will give them time. And so the so-called investor will come at his own time, and also the young man will also be accorded his timetable. So that young man also probably he has the same habit. He will export it here, and so before you know it, if it is HIV, the man will also come, get it, he will take it to his family, and it's going to be a big problem.
It is.
So, plus men are already living under so much economic pressure.
And now living a double life compounds that.
Yes,
you know?
It's so fragmented. Yeah. Now you're already under so much pressure. That's why, for instance, you mentioned something about them getting their properties and mortgaging them.
Yes,
because they're looking for resources.
Because they're looking for resources to maintain another family or another relationship. I think I know several cases of men who, because out of all this, they're just defeated. So when they are defeated, they abandon the home. And then they say, you woman also take care of your children. Every woman should take care of their children. And so it is out of absolute defeat. Yeah. You're defeated. And I know so many that, for instance, out of such pressure, they are spending on the side relationship more than here, especially when it is under secrecy, because the other person is saying, they know that you don't want your wife to know. And so they go like, you do this, I put your name on the chopping board, right? I'll expose you to your wife, or I'll expose you, or I'll call the tabloids too.
How is that fine?
Like, how is that? How? That's why I told you, it's decent suicide. You're just committing suicide. People won't say Bambi was committed. I mean, you just took
poison. The poison.
You're taking poison slowly.
Oh, bye.
I want us to bring this to a close. You said something, Dr. Evas. You said that I don't remember the exact words, but you said something along the lines of, we want to make you hate this practice. And I think that really is our ultimate goal today, for you to see the cost versus the benefits, you know, because there might be men who are watching and saying, you women, you don't know the things you put us through, you know, we have no choice. Or, you know, I want to explore my options, you know, and have a variety of women as I can. In closing, for both of you, I want you to share your last remarks on this particular issue. What would you say to someone who is considering, we talked about the benign tumor, the really tiny tumor, that itch in there that says, I could have options, you know? What would you say to them to say this is not worth it? And what's the alternative? Because I think often we come here and we examine issues, like we have talked about this one at length. What should people do? Even as we begin to confront this pattern, this, I don't know if it's a habit, what should young men and women do to not fall into this trap, to begin to ask themselves questions, just because my grandfather did it, should I also do it? Just because my father did it, must I also do it? I hope my question is clear as we begin to close.
Yeah, there are three categories in that. Number one, if you are in or already engrossed in that picture. I would say that find a way of putting closure to this. And there is help that you will need. For example, doctor is here. She's a household name in this country, and her services are unprecedented. And so there are people who have been there, they have been helped. Just know that you are not the first one in this.
Yeah.
There are so many cases, people who have been affected, but they've decided to acknowledge that, yes, I did it. The vice kind of ate me up, but I've decided to move out of it. It might cause shame a little bit, but at least your ending will be more than how it was. Then number two, if you are thinking about it, I would just tell you, it's a no-go zone. Because of the things we've talked about here, it's a stressing thing. It's very stressful. Me, there are people I know, I'm a people person. I relate with so many people. But what they tell you, there are those who are born again, there are those who are not born again, border borders. Sometimes I ride on border borders, they tell you these things. And you're like, what? Are we living in a world that we are living in? I'm like, part of it is news to me. So I'm saying that if you ever have the feeling of going there, please don't. Because you will not like it. It will take a huge toll on you, and you will regret. Then the other thing, I would like to introduce to you a man. For me, I'm a believer and I'm a Christian. For one, I was in that line. My grandfather, he was a polygamous man. My father, the same thing. But now, when I got born again, I said, no, I have to be a cycle breaker. I had to say, it ends here. And people thought I was joking. So when I look at my siblings, I'm a lone child. We were born 9. Actually, it is said that we have another sibling of ours, making it 10, that we haven't yet seen. I just heard about that 2 years ago. So we are on a hunt. And so, 9 of us, 5 have their own mother. The 4 each have their own mothers. I'm one of the 4. 3 boys and the rest are girls. So that thing jumped on my siblings. If I tell you here, we might sleep over. But for me, I said, Joseph, much as sometimes we might even be born again, and you don't, you are not in that place of seeking for deliverance and, God's intervention. But for me, I said, it stops here. I had to fight it in prayer. I had to contend. I had to put up a fight. And by God's grace, I overcame that thing. I have to give you good news. These days they say abstinence. It's a lie. That you can't keep yourself pure, I got married at 36 years, 1 month to turn 37, just 1 month apart. I had never slept with any woman. Never. I told myself it will only be my wife. And by God's grace, it happened. I'm still faithful to that one wife of mine. And by God's grace, I have set a very good example to most of the people. So most people, though they eloped with their women, but finally they wedded well, and it's happening. There are those who are like, I also want to take the same trend like Joseph did. And so we are here to tell you, it might be hard on your end, but God is the only person that is capable to help you overcome this. And so, whether it is culture, whether it is what, by the end of the day, you have to make a personal choice and say, for me, I'm starting a new chapter, and I want to be known generation after generation that I did this and it was impactful. And so that is how the Lord is enabling us.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Dr. Evas.
Yeah, sure. I think I'll just, my last remarks, I also want to draw on what he has mentioned. It has to be a personal choice. Don't blame anyone for getting you into this thing. You're purely responsible, primarily responsible for that choice. If you choose to pick another partner, it's about you. It's about you. And so that's why I've always told people, culture can lure you into that behavior, but they're not going to help you to manage it.
No.
You see, religion, some religions, I'm not going to talk about them, but I've also had conversations with my brothers from this. They say, but us, we are allowed to do that. And I tell them, you see, it's okay. If that religion, which I'm sure is also used, it's twisted, because I've read it, read it, and it doesn't just say, oh, go on rampage. They say, get many women, but you can love equally.
Yeah.
Of course, now who can do that?
Who's going to measure?
Who can do that?
No.
You're not Superman.
Yeah.
Now, that's, you can be lured by religion, but I've always told them just to know that religion is not going to find you home to manage all these issues and prevent the stress that we have talked about. So it's going to be personal choice. And as much as possible, avoid blaming it on the marriage. I know that some marriages can be hard, but by the time you married your partner, I want to assure you that there is a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of work to be done. That's why we are trained to support you. We trained in relational science to help people manage, acquire skills to manage the relationships, skills. I mean, all the skills that we need to manage marriage, including self-awareness, social awareness, self-discovery generally, communication skills, conflict management skills. All these are skills.
Yes.
And we are not born with skills. We learn them.
True.
And so I encourage people, please learn. Learn. For instance, we have this event coming up on the 21st of February. This event, this is an opportunity for you to come and interact with people that have been trained to support you, with marriage counselors who will give you professional advice. Sit with a psychologist. They're going to help you check the traumas that are in your background and things that are triggering you. Or maybe you don't have an opportunity to do impulse regulation. These are impulse regulation is one of the skills. And this is a skill that comes in handy to manage this behavior.
Yes.
You probably haven't been helped. You know, Rachel, if you recall, I talked about impulse regulation that we learn from potty training.
When we are little.
Right.
When we are so little.
Yeah.
Now, when a psychologist is doing work with you, they're going to help you understand where this came from and how you can now build that skill. Since you didn't manage to build it that time, you can manage it now. Right? You can manage last. You see, you don't have to be a baby to do potty training again, but you can actually manage it. You can do mental reprogramming. So that's number one. Number two, I think I want to emphasize the issue of counting the cost.
Yes.
Counting the cost.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not a builder. My husband builds. And one of the things that we start with every time we're getting into a building project, he begins with bills of quantities. Putting down bills of quantities. I really want to speak to my brothers. Don't get into this side chick project without doing bills of quantities.
Yeah.
It is a very big project. You need to see, you need to be honest. Don't go into this shallow invoking of experiences. You know, the other person has. You don't know their story. You don't know their story. And of course, strangely, even when people are talking about when they've already died in the movie, they don't give a full story.
No, they won't.
They don't give a full story. We don't have lots of testimonies in that area where people are saying, don't go there. I've been there. There are very few. But I want to ask my brothers, please, do your bills of quantities. Don't just run into another relationship. It's very costly. Don't just say surely, oh, my grandfather was polygamous, I can also be. You don't know.
Yeah.
Count the cost. And I will not leave this place without talking about the cost of respect from your children.
Yes.
I can cost,
Legacy.
let me tell you, legacy. Cost of your legacy. People have abandoned their legacy. You have, and when you look back, you're like, well, was it worth it? Was it really worth it? There are so many dads that are stranded with children looking at them. You know, every other day we are counseling people, adults and children who are angry, who hate their parents to death because of how one of them was telling me, Daddy denied us an opportunity for a peaceful home environment.
Oof.
The children hate their parents so much because of the chaos. They see you dramatizing, or I mean, like your entire life is a movie.
Sure.
They are seeing you. You also don't enjoy the movie.
You're the star, but you don't.
You're the star, but you're about to die.
Actually, to cut you short,
Oh, dear Lord.
You see?
they always say the best gift that you'll ever give to your children is by loving their mother.
Yes, 100%.
That's true.
And there is a story, I think you read it. There is a gentleman, I think he was a lecturer in the university. He read his books, he built his career until PhD. And so, he did all the responsibilities. He took care of the children, he educated them. Those who wanted to go abroad to study, they had the opportunity. Now, his major challenge, he never coded his wife time, quality time. He always came in, out, out. It was the mother who was with the children. And lo and behold, they are grown, they are graduating. This is what happens. It's the mom who gets the visa and the ticket
To go and
go
visit.
to witness the graduation.
Yeah.
They are getting married, they acknowledge their mother. Now the Bazukulus have started to come. Of course, the influence shifts to their grandma. So the man is here, is stranded, and all the children are grown and gone. He's stranded, the wife is also gone. The children are like, now we are going to take care of our mother.
100%.
And the man is saying, I did everything I could as a father. But he was absent in a certain area. And that's what killed him.
That's the thing. So that's why we are having a challenge. Rachel, we're going to be doing a movie. An episode.
We are now
We are going. I'm so sorry. We're going to be doing having a conversation around retirement.
Yes.
And some of you who have heard me talk about retirement beyond finances,
True.
that's exactly what you're describing. We are now seeing so many lonely men,
Yes.
retired men, because they messed up relationships at an early age.
Yeah.
So please, can I emphasize, please, if you're going to get into a side relationship, do bills of quantities.
Yeah.
Lastly, Rachel, I also want to emphasize the issue of contentment.
Very right.
Contentment is also a skill. And contentment is about the mind. It's mindset. And I want to assure my brothers that one wife is enough for you. In fact, they are too much for you. One wife is a lot of work. It's a lot of work, to be honest with you. One wife is a lot of work if you choose to invest in your relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You're going to learn so much. You're going to grow together. That's why scripture in Malachi 2, verse 15 to 17, God talks about, do not break faith with the wife of your youth.
Yeah.
Why? Because you see, this wife of your youth, you're going to grow with them. You're going to grow with them. You're going to have a history. You're going to fall and get up. You're going to learn.
Yes.
You're going to unlearn certain behaviors. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And so if you're ready to do the work, do it. One wife is enough for you. And they are going to teach you a lot. You're going to grow. You're going to have peace. You're going to know how to parent. There's a lot of work. We start marriage without any big skill. But let me tell you, that's why I've told people that if we allow marriage to teach us, we can graduate as beautiful product. So one wife is enough for you. Yeah. Finally, seek help.
Seek help.
Friends, seek help. If your relationship is struggling, there is help. There is help. And I really want to ask my brothers, don't be embarrassed that your relationship is struggling. Relationships are a lot of hard work. They are a lot of work. And some of it, we haven't been prepared for it.
That's true.
And so please seek help. Professionals are here to talk to you. If you want a male therapist, you don't want to talk to me as a woman. There are so many we have here at ICFC. Come and talk to someone. Because a problem shared
The problem solved.
is a problem solved. It's not halfway solved. In therapy, we say it is fully solved.
I like therapy. Therapy is very forward-looking and hopeful. This has been fairly long, but with good reason. And I really hope that we've planted a seed that will cause you to confront what you have seen or what is being normalized in our culture and society today. Not every extra is an addition or is beneficial. So think about it before you make that choice. If you are already in the entanglement, I think it's possible to disentangle yourself with help from therapy, talking to people, and just confronting how you found yourself in a situation like this. We hope that this has been helpful. Thank you for watching. Please do leave us a comment and let us know where you're watching from. And we receive comments from people all over the world. So it would be nice to know where you're watching this from, but also what has stood out for you from our conversation today. Thank you to Joseph for making the time. It's always nice to have a male voice so that it doesn't feel like women are just being women.
They don't know what we go through.
They don't know what we go through.
Yeah. But also it's good to amplify ourselves.
Yes.
So that you also understand what is happening. The fire.
The fire, yes. The fire is there.
Fire is everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Please remember 21st of February, we are here at the ICFC Conference Center, Conference Hall in Bukoto and the TMT Atrium building on the 3rd level. For what you ask, we are celebrating love. It's a wonderful offer from the ICFC family, Reality Check family. We want you to come. Let's celebrate love. But also, like Dr. Evas has said, there's going to be some therapists, marriage counselors on hand. We're going to do some practicals in terms of communication and having conversations. So it would be nice if you came with your person. For married couples, dating couples, please do come through dressed elegantly, red or black, whichever you fancy. We look forward to seeing you here on the 21st of February, starting at 4 p.m. Okay?
Yeah.
I think we have said enough. Once again, stay well, stay healthy. We'll see you again next week.
Sure.
I love it.